Here's another edition of the Speed Cafe Summer Grill, brought to you by KTM Ready to Race. Greg Russ, Simon Chapman and Greg Murphy with you for this edition, and we are going to talk IndyCar with one of the greats of the game. He's up there with the greats now after clinching a 6th title in 2020. It was a remarkable performance. We'll reflect on that and look ahead to the great season of 2021. Scott Dixon, hello.
How are you guys doing? I wish I was definitely where you guys are opposed to where I am right now, but looks great, and thanks for having me on.
Congratulations. I guess for you, the 2021 focus is number 7. That would be a remarkable feat if you could do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, last year and obviously, the 6th championship was definitely a big milestone. I think the 5th championship for me felt, kind of separating myself. There was a bunch of champions that have had 4 championships and then to kind of get into that no man's land and obviously now try and chase, the great AJ Foyt, who's sitting, on his lonesome with 7 there. But I think every year, it's always the same goal. First, to try and win the Indianapolis 500, which comes up first in May, and then secondly, to go on and try and win the championship. So it's definitely always those same goals, and I can't wait to get going. It's, as we all know, been a very strange, 2020, but 2021, I think everybody's looking forward to for many different reasons.
The 2020, though, I mean, how do you put it into context with everything else, considering the challenges, mate? I mean, it was, you could see the relief at the end of it on your face, and just such a different year to try and manage. I mean, does it make it more special in any way compared to the other years?
It will definitely be one that none of us forget. 2020 as a whole, I think all of us are going to remember. Racing for us too, I think the first one, I think that the hardest part was actually getting to the first race, and then, flying home on the Friday. We never actually got to get on track. And the hardest part was actually that, that 2-month period of not knowing what was going to happen. There was talks of the season being, wiped out. There was talks of sponsors not staying. There was, talks of Chip and, many other teams having to refocus and how they were going to finance people staying on the payroll, So there was a lot of unknowns. And I think that's the hardest thing for all of us, right? Is if we can have a date to shoot, towards, or something that we know that's going to come up in the near future, then it's easy to concentrate on that and work towards it, So I think for all of us, it was a massive relief, getting to Texas. Obviously, Texas for us, kicked off great with a very dominant race. It should have been a 1-2. Felix got caught up in some lap traffic there, to the point where you're getting to winner's circle and celebrating by yourself. No champagne, nobody to sort of high five or anything like that. So it's been very strange. And then to the many highs that we had in the early part, winning 3 races in a row out of the gates, 4 for the team. To having, a pretty bad, sort of end to the season and really having to claw on, I think, at St. Pete, which definitely made it interesting. But for all of us, it was a tremendous year and it just shows you how good this team is and the different adversities and, the way that we had to prep for these races, totally changed the format that we're normally used to. And they really stepped up and made a lot of it easier for myself.
Scott, where does this championship sit amongst the 6?
I think all of them, they're like kids, right? You love them all equally, but, there's definitely different, memories. I think the first for me was definitely a standout in 2003, but the greatest year for me was 2008, getting married in February, winning the 500 in May, and then going on to win the championship October, and then Emma actually falling pregnant in the same year. So, 2008 was definitely a standout. But, I think this year, as I said earlier, is one that we're never going to forget, just because of the different ways that we had to, no testing, no really on track, time. It was just kind of try and make the most of it as quick as you can, especially with all these double header events too, Saturday and a Sunday and just the different adversities that we had. So it's one that for me, I think, and being a part of a team meant the most, because we really had to change everything that we do standard, to acclimate to the new season and the format that we had.
You just mentioned about the double header stuff. I'm interested to know, did you enjoy that? Did you like that back-to-back stuff and the way, the change in the schedule?
I actually, for me, I missed the practice sessions. I missed actually developing the car, really working on the car. I think we were fortunate at a lot of tracks that we rolled off really well. If you didn't, you were in the deep end, man, and it was going to be a big struggle. The double headers I've always enjoyed. I would say probably 70 or 80% of the drivers don't like them, and the teams are probably on the same side. But I've always been, in a situation, well, if we're there, we should be racing, we should be on track. We get so limited on everything else nowadays to, where a first session would be 2.5, 3 hours long. And now we're down to, 1 45-minute session of practice and straight into the race. So if we can have more races and more race time on weekends, man, I'm all for it. And physically, it's really tough. Mentally, it's really tough. Strategy-wise, it's pretty interesting. The only thing I disliked about it this year was actually when we did the double headers, they shortened the races. I didn't really like that. It didn't allow for, a 2-stopper versus 3-stopper really to play out and mix that field up and create the chaos at the end that we're typically used to in IndyCar racing. So, there's definitely some things I think that we learned this year that the series will hold on to and move to the future. But there's definitely some things that we learned that were bad, one for racing and for the spectacle. We've got to remember we're putting on a show.
As our chat goes to air here, you're just over a week away from starting some testing for the 2021 season. I think it's something like 14 different venues. Streets of Nashville is on there, and we're really excited about your teammates too, Scott. Firstly, to Jimmy Johnson. So much hype around the 7-time NASCAR champion joining you guys. Pretty cool.
Definitely an interesting, kickoff, I think, to the season. Not a whole lot of off-season testing. You're going to have to really make right, I think maybe the 2 or 3 days that we get, which is making it very difficult for the likes of, Jimmy Johnson to come in. I remember when I first joined IndyCar, I think our team tested almost 50 days of testing, split between drivers. And now you're talking maybe for the whole season of getting 5 or 6 days, So, and we discussed this and they were talking about keeping a lot of these road and street courses 2-day events. Where you don't get really maybe an hour and a half on track time. And it makes it really hard for the rookies for one, but also, the likes of Jimmy Johnson, who's very accomplished. And I can see, why he's a 7-time NASCAR champion, his work ethic and the just the effort that he goes into and trying to cover everything is pretty mind boggling. I thought by now he might have slowed down a little bit, but like through this week, I think he's testing 2 or 3 different kinds of cars. Last week, he was doing the same thing. He's really got his foot on the gas. So really excited to have Tony Kanaan back, part of the 48 team that will run the 4 oval races for Jimmy. That, he's only doing the road courses. New teammate with Alex Palau. We got the new Cadillac deal with the team as well in the IMSA program. So, our new Extreme E team with Chip Ganassi Racing as well. So it's definitely a busy off season, but looking forward to the season and definitely a couple of new teammates.
I find it quite interesting there that you talk about Jimmy Johnson's work ethic and how good it is and how how much effort he puts into it, because we're all pretty sure that that's why you're so successful and have done so much in your life. I just want to talk quickly about Indy. Just tell us a little bit about that race and how you obviously dominated it for such a long time, and the feeling, coming down to the wire and not being able to actually, fight there to the checkered flag.
It sucked, man. There's no other way around it. I think for us, we tried to cover every situation. The only situation that we knew we couldn't cover is if there was a red flag, or if there was a caution that they let run out. And typically, I think the last 5 years they've done a very good job of creating that red instant and instantly and making sure that we can get back racing. And we knew that, Sato was going to be 2 or 3 laps short on fuel. That's why we had to sit back. We had to make sure that we got to the end. We were only just going to make it. We'd pitted, 1 or 2 laps later than him and also sat in the draft. So super frustrating. I haven't felt that deflated, I think in a long time. I finished second, maybe. I think that might have been the 3rd or 4th time I finished second at the Indianapolis 500. And it's the worst place you can finish. I think you'd rather crash out or any situation like that. But it was great to see. I think for a team effort, we had our speed back. We'd kind of lost our mojo there for a little while. 2017, we sat on the pole. The car was fast, but the last couple of years up to that were pretty rough. So I was excited for the speed, but man, it's hard to go out that way. It sucks just to watch. I think just how well that day went and just see it slip away. And you can't do anything about it. It was pretty frustrating.
It sucked for all of us too, mate.
Yeah, it did, absolutely. We wish you all the best, Scott, with the 2021 season. We'd love to see you chalk up another Indy 500 win here. He may be 40, but he is as fit and as competitive as ever. Thank you so much for joining us on the Speed Cafe Summer Grill.
Anytime. Thank you so much for having me. I can't wait to get down to New Zealand. I'm missing that Kiwi summer, man. You know, I got to have a few beers on the beach, you know. But thank you so much, and looking forward to 2021 and what hopefully it brings a lot of happiness for all of us.
Yeah, agreed. Stay safe. There he is, Scott Dixon, and we're going to have another edition of the Summer Grill, proudly brought to you by KTM, ready to race real soon here at speedcafe.com. KTM are giving away some awesome summer essentials each week. Stay cool with a KTM Powerwear pack featuring a shirt, cap, thongs or jandals, sunglasses and lanyard. To enter the draw, all you need to do is subscribe to Speed Cafe in the sign up box below this video. It is that easy. And we'll have another episode of the KTM Summer Grill for you tomorrow. Stay tuned.